Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille show. It's Jerry Miller. Good Monday to you. A fantastic program lined up for you. You know I have the entrepreneurial bug in my soul running through my DNA. We're going to welcome a fellow comrade who has similar qualities to me on the program, and Antoine Brinson. This guy bit by the entrepreneurial bug, and I'll tell you what, he's got a business model that is training up-and-coming stars in Charlottesville and Central Virginia's kitchens and culinary scene, and he's giving them the knowledge and expertise he has accumulated over years of being in the restaurant industry, and he's passing this knowledge on to people that want to get in the restaurant industry so they can be more qualified when they go see the Andy McClures of the world, or the Wilson Richies of the world, or the Brian Hellebergs of the world, or they go to the Keswick Halls, the Cliftons of the world, the C&Os with Dean Maupin of the world, whatever it may be. I think it's freaking genius. I think that's undoubtedly why we welcome him on this program. I also want to hear his story of how, what it's like to be a business owner in Charlottesville, what it's like to start a company, what it's like to matriculate through the Community Investment Collaborative. Antoine Brinson, our guest in a matter of moments. Before we get to Brinson, the president, the founder, let's thank some peeps that make this show possible. First, Greenberry's Coffee. 28 years, these people, a husband and wife. I mean, it's beautiful. A husband and wife with a dream and the willingness to work 80 hours a week and a beat-up Honda Civic launched a business called Greenberry's in Charlottesville, out of the McIntyre Office Park for the roasting facility and out of Barracks Road for their first location. Now they're a global business, almost 30 years in, with Japan, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia locations, and soon to open in Portland, Oregon. It's money. It gets me jacked. Scotty Wagner, Dr. Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine also gets me jacked. I've seen his business grow firsthand as his advertising agency of record. He started in Seminole Square next to the Indian restaurant in Seminole Square. He just recently purchased the Quinn Farmer auction house and now has, 4 or 5 doctors under his tutelage. It's the kind of stories that we love to celebrate here on the I Love CVille show. Harris Tolber, our director, Lauren Linsky, and Judah Wickhauer, our producers. Harris, you're my boy, Blue. Let's make it happen, and let's welcome Antoine Brinson to the program. Antoine, first, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Your reputation speaks for itself. When I first was touched by the Antoine Brinson brand was Lee Elberson. And Lee Elberson, if anyone knows, the CEO of Claiborne Education and one of the board members of the Community Investment Collaborative, he is an evangelist for people, and he leaves rooms and people feeling better about themselves. And he had told me probably like 8 or 9 times, Jerry, you need to talk to Antoine Brinson. This guy's making big things happen. Such nice things about you, dude.
Shout out to Lee, man. That's my guy.
And I can tell. Yeah. And I can tell. He's got your back. The second time I was touched by your brand was some of the cool things you're doing on social media, specifically how you're promoting your live events on social media, where you welcome people to, I don't know if you call it graduation. Is it called graduation?
It's graduation.
Okay, so it's graduation. So he has the folks that go through his program, a graduation program, where he welcomes guests to a pop-up restaurant, and they show the IQ and the knowledge that they learned from you. That's the second time. And then the third time was when I saw you in the CVille Weekly. So, dude, props to you, Antoine.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate it, man.
Put in perspective, the show is yours, sir. What is Culinary Concepts AB?
It is a life skill navigation program. I like to, when I do my interviews, I always tell people this is not a culinary training program. This is a navigation program. This is for those individuals that have been in the industry, that are looking to get in the industry, that have been rejected, that are looking to gain those core skills that you need to be successful.
That's awesome. So where did you get the idea for this concept? Because you have had experience with restaurants and kitchens in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Did you have an aha moment?
I did. I mean, I've spent most of my career building teams and training people, and that's kind of what I've done for the last 15 years. And when I moved to Charlottesville, I couldn't find staff for the restaurant that I was opening, and I went into it with the mentality, well, I'm just going to train them from ground zero. And, I just hire people for passion and built my team.
The restaurants that you've worked in, the experiences you have enjoyed or maybe suffered through to get to the point of launching this business. Where did you learn the acumen and the experience to get to this point?
Well, I went to school in New York. I went to CIA. I spent time after that traveling for a bit in the Caribbean. I spent time in Hawaii. But I would definitely say, foundationally, the skills related to Greenbrier in West Virginia.
Oh, that's a big-time place, man. Yeah. I did a public speaking event at the Greenbrier and brought my wife and son to it.
Awesome.
And I was utterly taken aback with the magnitude of the Greenbrier Resort. I was utterly taken aback by the Greenbrier Resort is the entire city and how many people like it employs. I think it's like how many people do you have off the top of your head? Over 1,000?
Yeah, probably about that.
It's like a world.
Yeah.
So learning in that kind of setting, that's a high pressure setting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Put in perspective what happened.
So what I did was as far as the Greenbrier.
Yeah.
So I went there because I kept hearing about it. I traveled in the Caribbean for about 2.5 years, and then I kept hearing the Greenbrier's name. So I wanted to go check it out. I go there, do my interview. It just so happens I run into a guy that I work with in the Caribbean there. He vouched for me, got me in the door.
Nice.
And then from there, he was like, hey, you want to help me with show work? And I didn't know what it was at the time. They have an amazing 3-year apprenticeship program there. Got into the competition world, helping out with the show work. Next thing you know, I'm an apprentice, did the 3-year apprenticeship program there. From there, moved on, had an opportunity under Chef Rosendale to open up a restaurant there. Did that. Then I had an opportunity to run a farm there. Did that. And kind of hit my ceiling after about 6 years.
You get burned out?
No. I mean, I took it as far as I could take it at the Greenbrier.
Got it.
And as chefs, I mean, most people out there know 3 years is kind of your max in one location.
Yeah.
So I wanted to continue to travel, continue to educate myself, continue to learn. So from there, I moved to Hawaii. Did a 4.5-year stint in Hawaii at the St. Regis. From there, I went to Palm Springs, San Francisco, and then here in Charlottesville.
I love it. So there were 2 sizzle reels there, Harris Tolber. The first one is Antoine talking about what his business, Culinary Concepts AB, is about. And the second one, kind of the experience he got from the Greenbrier Resort. I mean, the Greenbrier Resort experience almost sounds like an MBA in executive chef and cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you really got, like, some hands-on and some practical experience there.
Absolutely. I mean, when I first went there, it was 2 certified master chefs there. You had Chef Rosendale, and then you had Chef Peter Timmons. And it was intense, man. It was an intense environment. I mean, the apprenticeship program, you have maybe 20 people might get in, but you graduate with a class of 5 or 6. Not everyone makes it through it. And the skills you learn there are really foundational, and they carry you through your career.
I love it, guys. If you could like and share the stream, like this stream and share it to your page if you don't mind, so we could get the positive exposure on Charlottesville in totality and specifically on Antoine Brinson and his business, Culinary Concepts AB. You have a lot of people on the stream. You're a well-liked guy in Charlottesville. I know that. So let's give some props to some of the folks watching. Michael Buchensky, Michael Allenby, James Watson, Ray Cadell, April Dent Ward, John Gilmer, Tim Ryan, Chris Turner, Grace Australia is watching. A lot of people have shared it as well, which we certainly appreciate. Nikisha White, thank you for doing that. How did you get to Charlottesville? And Harris, this is a sizzle reel waiting to happen. How did Antoine Brinson get to Charlottesville, Virginia?
So I was in San Francisco, food and beverage director at a property, and I got to a point to where, I had a moment in life where it was like, I got 2 kids, a wife. I'm never going to be able to buy a house in San Francisco, and I need to kind of reevaluate my 3 to 5 year plan. And I thought that I was going to end up in San Diego. I skate, I freaking surf. I love boards, right?
Yeah, you like good weather.
Yeah,
obviously.
I love good weather.
Yeah.
And just by chance, one of the headhunters came back with Common House. Reached out to him, met Joe Scala. Shout out to Joe.
Yeah. General Manager.
Yeah. Awesome guy. And then from there, he linked me up with Ben and Derek, the owners of the club, and just fell in love with the guys, man. Stand-up guys, beautiful vision, alignment was amazing, and I love what they were doing. And I'm like, what a great concept. And then I started really looking into Charlottesville, and what stood out to me was great place to raise a family, great schools, great community. And the move was more about the family and less about me. It became about just getting my family to a place where I can plant my feet.
Good answer right there. Sizzle reel that, Harris. And Judah Wickhauer, if you could, those same interactions you're doing now, let's also get done with CVille Food and I Love CVille's Facebook page, sir. Charlottesville, Virginia hooks people It may not happen immediately. It may take some time. For me, it happened right away. For my wife, it happened slowly. But since we've had a son, it's hooked her more because kids change our view and our perspective on things.
They do.
It starts becoming more about them than about us.
Right.
Let me throw this to you. Charlottesville, Virginia. How did she respond to you? How did you respond to her?
Charlottesville, for me, has been absolutely amazing. I like to say, traveling and living in different places, it's really hard for each individual in the family to kind of find their people, so to speak. And I would definitely say moving to Charlottesville, all of the members of my family have kind of found their groups that they kind of fell into, and for me, the community has really embraced the concept of what I'm doing and really just kind of helped push me along as far as an entrepreneur goes. So it's been great. I
love it. We have some interactions coming in. Nakisha White says, I'm currently in Antoine Brinson's class.
She is.
This program is awesome. Nakisha White, thank you for dropping that knowledge on the feed. Please share and like the feed if you could do us that kind favor, Nakisha White. Ray Cadell has a question. He's a good supporter of this program. He wants to know if you've worked or crossed paths at all with Rod Stoner.
Yeah, I was just with him last week.
Get out of town. This is the beautiful thing about Charlottesville. Tell me about this.
So I know Rod from the Greenbrier.
Okay.
Amazing, amazing guy, beautiful heart. Rod is like a legend at the Greenbrier and in the food and beverage world as a whole. And right now, me and Rod, we had a conversation about how we can work together on building this and making it a bigger than what it is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Scaling and
Yes.
some vertical potential there. Put that in perspective for me.
So my goal with this entire operation is to take it national then international. Right now, I'm working in Charlottesville. I'm working on building the relationships, really kind of planting my feet here. This is home, so I want to make this headquarters. And the goal with it is really, the problem isn't just in Charlottesville. It's a problem all around the nation. My goal is to find passionate individuals, help them gain the skills they need, and then put them in restaurants as a mentorship to continue the path of growth in culinary arts.
Dude, that was an awesome answer. Sizzle reel that, baby. We're going to bang out some sizzle reels early in this program because Brinson's on point this morning. You have a tremendous way with your words. You're very articulate, a pleasant conversationalist. You don't find that with a lot of back-of-the-house individuals. And I'm not going to... I have so many chefs as friends. Curtis Shaver at Peloton Station in Hamilton's.
Yeah.
He was a groomsman in my wedding.
Awesome.
Melissa Closehart at Junction. She's Inner Circle, and she's coming on the program on Thursday. We just had Laura Fonner, the executive chef, who's soon to be the owner at Dooner's Restaurant. She broke that news here that she was going to be the owner of Dooner's Restaurant on the show. I have a lot of chefs as friends. I love them. What I find with the chefs, though, is they are very to the point. They love four-letter language, and they're a little, a little aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, put in perspective. I'm sure when the time is right, Brinson can get to that point as well. But now you're founder and president of a business.
Yeah.
When did you start realizing that perhaps you had to go with a little bit more refinement?
Well, I would definitely say my time in front of the house helped refine me.
Okay.
I wasn't comfortable in the beginning, but taking the skills that I had in the back of the house and going in the front and not being able to drop the F-bomb in every conversation, and really just kind of have to really articulate myself better when talking to guests that really don't speak the language of the kitchen. It challenged me. It really forced me to step outside my comfort zone. And as they say, you practice at something, you get better at it.
Love that answer. Yeah. Like and share the feed if you don't mind. Thank you, Bill Granford, for doing that. Jeremy Stanwyck, Jonathan Galasso, Nakisha, I appreciate what you just did right there. Props to you, Nakisha. Douglas Niven, thank you for doing that as well. If you could share it as well, that would be great. Charlottesville, Virginia, you come here through a headhunter to a private club.
Yes.
The Common House. Mm-hmm. You said you had immediate rapport and dynamic with Scala, the general manager. His wife, who I believe is Erin Scala,
awesome,
was the wine expert at Petit Pois and Fleury.
Right. And
she has since left to be an entrepreneur herself, and please help me here, taking over the wine store in Keswick.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So it's a small world.
Mm-hmm.
You also have a good relationship with Derek, and who is his co-founder?
Ben Finsgraf.
Ben at Common House. Derek of the Derek Sieg family, of the Sieg family. Sieg, obviously one of the huge beer barons at one time in Charlottesville, Virginia, with Sieg distributorship. Put in perspective the dynamic with the general manager and the two co-founders and how first the perspective, and the second part of the question is how important it was to you to feel that sense of family, because you were taking a huge risk coming here for this position.
Yeah, I mean, it was huge. I mean, we literally got in a car, and I'm like, I always wanted to do a road trip. I'm like, let's drive. My wife thought I was crazy, and but we did it, and it was awesome. And those guys, man, they really made it easy to move here. You know, they asked the right questions. You know, anything I needed. You know, I remember when we were looking for a house, Joe, he used his FaceTime. And that's how we toured the house that we got.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, just really, really, really good guys that really wanted the best for me and my family. It wasn't about the job. It was more about just making sure that me and my family was in a good place.
Good answer right there.
Yeah.
Nikish is giving you big time props. I would tell anyone to take his class. You will learn a lot. AB Culinary Concepts is where it's at. Nikisha, props to you right there. Thank you for sharing the love.
So it's crazy. She was in my. So I was a group leader in CIC. She was one of my students in CIC. She heard what I was doing with my program, and she joined it. So she's in the current class.
Community Investment Collaborative. That is another brand I constantly hear around town. It's an epicenter for aspiring entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs that perhaps want to improve their business models in some ways. Community Investment Collaborative, put it into perspective from your vantage point, and also what value proposition it offered to Culinary Concepts AB.
Absolutely. Shout out to CIC. That's my group right there. So for me, going into the entrepreneurial world, I knew how to go in and operate and build teams from here up. But what I didn't have was the foundational skills of, you know, how do you take something from nothing and turn it into something? And CIC really kind of helped me, you know, dive into, you know, really what the concept is and how do you turn it into something. I love the program so much that when I graduated, shout out to Kier and Steven, gave me the opportunity to come back as a group leader, and I came back and had my own group that I helped, you know, through their journey of finding their business.
CIC seems to be one of the most approachable, welcoming, positive energied communities in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Elberson was on this program. Lee, again, one of the chairman and board members who also teaches a class there, just like genuinely and sincerely, just like, you know, giving love to this program.
Yeah.
Same with you.
Yeah. I mean, what they were able to do for me, I mean, like it was absolutely amazing. I mean, I would have never made it to this point without the help of CIC. So the gratitude is beyond words.
I love it. So it really sounds like you're saying folks that need to get involved with this program.
Yeah. If you're an entrepreneur and you know, even if you have an existing business and you're struggling with foundational skills, CIC. You know, if you're looking to get a business and you have a great concept and you want to develop it, CIC.
I love it. So let's talk specifics. Common House, the genius from a kitchen standpoint, you, to then wanting to launch a business. Well, walk me through that. Walk me through what it's like. You have 2 kids.
2 kids.
You got a wife.
Wife.
You got to make money, dude.
Gotta make money, yeah.
I know what it's like here. Walk me through this concept. Should I do this? What if it fails? How am I going to pay the bills? Everyone's going to be watching us. I'm already having an awesome gig at Common House. I mean, all the questions entrepreneurs ask themselves before launching.
You're literally jumping off a cliff. That's what it is when you say you want to do it. I mean, for me, I got to a point to where I seen it was such a need, and I'm extremely passionate about building teams and helping people that, you know, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. I'm like, it's not that I want to do this, I need to do this. And once I convinced myself that, you know, this was a need, then it was a matter of just walking the walk, you know. And it's scary when you quit your job and you walk away from it for something that, you know, you've never seen before, for something that, you know, is just a belief. You know, at the point in the beginning, it's just an idea. You got to really, really believe in what you're doing to make it happen, and you got to go for it. And it's going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of downtime. You know, there's going to be a lot of times where you just want to quit. There's going to be times where you're like kind of scraping the bottom. But you got to believe in it, and you just got to go hard, you know?
I love that answer. So vulnerable and so genuine and real and so like authentic from his personal experience. Sizzle Reel, Harris Tolber, thank you very much. Jay Wyatt, thank you for watching. Sarah Hill Buczynski, nothing but love for you. Thank you for watching. James Watson. Thank you for watching, James watching. You know James?
I don't.
Okay, we got some peeps watching. How about Yoshirio Tachi? Yoshiro Tachi watching here, giving you some props on this program. And if I messed that up, I apologize. Keith Smith, thank you, sir, for watching. Like and share this program. Thank you for sharing it. Keith Smith there of Roy Wheeler. How did you manage the doubt? How did you manage the uncertainty? Because my business is 11 years in May, and we're doing well. You know, I own a building, we're doing well here, and I still have doubt, and I still struggle with it. How I manage it is like working out super hard at ACAC, playing racquetball at ACAC, bad times, maybe drinking a 6-pack of IPAs, no bullshit. I mean, like, and my wife's like, dude, you can't do that anymore. We have a son in okay, you can't do that anymore. How I manage it sometimes is talking to my wife. I mean, how do you manage it?
I mean, I would definitely say, you know, starting from, you know, foundationally, like, shout out to my lady, shout out to Margaret. I mean, like, she's foundation for me. I mean, going into this, saying that I was going to start a business, she looked at me like, are you sure you're going to do this? Are you sure we're going to be okay? Like, I mean, I'm like, I believe it. I know we will. And she, from the day one, she's always had my back. That's awesome. And she's always supported me. And from there, you know, like, I knew I needed to change my schedule too. I wanted to maximize my time. So I changed my schedule to get up at 4 a.m.
Get out of town.
No, seriously. I get up at 4. And the purpose of that was, all right, I need to maximize my day. And I'm like, by maximizing my day, how can I structure myself to be able to have the most impact in everything I'm doing in my day, from meetings to class time to networking to making time for people that are looking to start businesses. And I just restructured my life. And I stuck with it, you know, and it's really the discipline and routine of just doing the same thing over and over, making sure that, you know, everything that I touch, anything that I do is impact.
I love that. Okay, I'm making you work here, Harris. I appreciate you. He's creating a lot of good content for us, Harris. 4 a.m., this dude is waking up at. So let me tell you, and why I'm trying to highlight that is that's what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur, especially a successful entrepreneur who has a wife and 2 kids.
Yeah.
How about the kid piece?
Yeah. So, what do you mean as far as what the kids pay?
Yeah, as far as like managing. Here's what I struggle with is like, my son is 11 months old, so younger. How old are your kids?
6 and 13.
Okay, so 6 and 13. Remember early stages with like all the milestones they were doing?
Yeah.
Like walking and crawling and doing all this. I am missing so much of it because I'm grinding here 70, 80 hours a week. My wife is so supportive and I love her to death. Yeah. She'll send me videos of him like, he's now standing up and trying to walk. And it brings me almost to tears. Like, but help me. Yeah. Give me some perspective.
I mean, just keeping it real. I mean, I would honestly say that as a chef, you already work 16 to 18-hour days. And for me, because I used to transition so much going to new properties, my thing was if I go into a new property, I didn't want to take 8 months with my 2 days. If you take 2 days off every week, it's gonna take you 8 months to turn that kitchen around. For me, it was all about high impact. So I would go in and not take a day off for 3 months straight, and I would flip a kitchen and build the team and form the bonds and build the relationships and get their buy-in so I could start making the changes. So hard work was never, that was never a problem. But when I said I wanted to be an entrepreneur, the one thing that I always sacrificed was family time. So going into this, what I told myself was, all right, I'm going to make sure my family time is just as important as my meetings, just as important as my class, and I just restructured it. So like for me, Saturdays I'll get up, I'll work it in the morning a little bit, but once my kids get up, I'm done. I take Sundays off, Saturday evenings off, and I spend it just with the family. I don't do any work. And then Monday I hit the ground running again. Now if I have to work on the weekends, I mean it does happen sometimes,
of course,
right?
Yeah.
But I mean for the most part, I try to make sure that time is reserved for my family.
Questions coming in. Michael Buchensky for First Heritage Mortgage. Michael, props to you, baby. We're going to make something happen with First Heritage, no doubt. He throws this to the feed. And also Nicole Miller coming in with a question. Michael Buchensky, First Heritage Mortgage says, I used to do competitive barbecuing in Maryland, like the real deal type of competitive barbecuing. I'm very passionate about food and always thought of trying a pop-up. Does your program help address situations like this? People that are considering pop-ups are coming to market.
It does not. It's more for just like, again, foundational skills and how do I navigate a kitchen? How do I work a station? How do I get my foot in the door? But I will, in third quarter, I will be launching a leadership program that will be more geared towards teaching people how to move into sous chef positions, chef de cuisines, executive sous chef positions, which in turn, it might be helpful for you as far as understanding how to navigate something like that, because you do pop-up restaurants and regular restaurants also.
Questions from Nicole Miller. Number of questions coming in, and she has 2 comments on the feed. First question is, what was the catalyst that began this journey for Antoine Brinson? We've touched on it already, but I would like that perspective again. She's just coming in on the show now, Antoine. She also gives you some big-time props and says, Antoine, we love you and your family. Keep up the amazing work. You're an asset to Charlottesville. So her question is the catalyst that began this journey for you, Antoine Brinson.
First, thank you, Nicole. I appreciate it. I would definitely say when I was at Common House, when we first went to open the club, I couldn't get applicants to apply for nothing. I mean, 2 weeks I had my ad up in 0. And as I said earlier, you know, it was really just posting the ad online saying, hey, are you passionate about cooking? Have you ever wanted to work in a professional kitchen? Send me your resume. And with an ad like that, I got tons of people that wanted to work and work for me in the kitchen. And what it came down to was I realized that there was a lot of people out there that had this passion to work in the kitchen but didn't have the skills. So this entire operation started with me with the question, are there any programs out there to help these individuals get the training that we need to be able to have them in our kitchens? And I couldn't find anything, so I developed one.
Great answer right there, baby. Let me throw the Wegmans effect to you. A lot of clients that are restaurateurs in town are clients of our business here. And they constantly, as an owner of an advertising agency, I'm essentially like a confessional for business owners and entrepreneurs. Yeah. They come in here and they tell me like the good, the bad, the ugly. Mm-hmm. They're like, Jerry, I'm new to the market and I want you to help me launch the business. Or I'm a small cap business and I want to add 100, 200 grand to the bottom line or go mid cap. Or I have clients that are $12 million businesses that want to get to $14 million business. And they literally sit across from us on the show, but off the show and say the good, the bad, the ugly. And where I'm going with this is like, did you see an opportunity for your business to solve the Wegmans effect? Because the restaurateurs that sit across from me are constantly saying, since Wegmans opened, they took a lot of the A and B players in restaurants, and they took those A and B players and they offered them bennies, yep. More legit schedules, where they could spend perhaps more time with their families, yeah. Then creating, for lack of a better phrase, the need to hire C, D, and potentially F players and then train them to fit their business model. Put in perspective the Wegmans effect and how it's impacting Charlottesville and Central Virginia.
I mean, I think that's spot on. I mean, I went through that firsthand, and every single chef that I've spoken to, they go through the same thing. My goal with this entire thing is just to create a ripple effect. You know, I feel like if you can train the people that are coming out of high school, if you can train the people that are out there that really love this and help them get the skills they need, then they're going to train somebody. And then that person they train is going to train somebody. And it's going to create this effect where, you know, hopefully it'll start making a positive impact within the restaurants.
You're thinking about scaling the concept. And you were talking with the, hold on, it's on the feed right now, Ray. You were talking with Rod Stoner of the Greenberry Resort. Thank you, Ray, for dropping that in the stream. And you mentioned that you want to bring this potentially to other markets in Charlottesville because it's not just Charlottesville, Virginia, that's struggling with lack of talented or trained personnel servicing restaurants. Right. How do you even begin scaling a concept like this?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay. So that's maybe the next challenge?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like right now, I think it's really just getting us to a point to where it is a well-oiled machine. I'm 3 classes in, going to roll out in the 4th class starting in March. Awesome. Yeah, so it's you know, I feel like I'm working out all the little details that I'm going to need to be able to take this concept and to somewhere else.
I love it. Tyler Berry from Catch the Chef. He's got a food cart and a food truck. Tyler Berry, I love your entrepreneurial hustle. He's watching the show.
Right on.
Billy Coing, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your last name, Billy, but Billy Coing, thank you for watching the show. If you guys could like and share the stream, that would mean the world to me. We're talking the entrepreneurial journey with Antoine Brinson, who is the president of Culinary Concepts AB. Josephine Humphrey from CBS 19 is watching on the program. Thank you, Josephine, for joining us. I think how you could scale that to other markets, and I'm just spitballing with you, it's like 2 guys at a barbershop or 2 guys at a bar yeah. drinking a beer and talking about their business. I love this stuff. Is if you got a bunch of online, you got your content and your training and your seminars online. You created video seminars that were anywhere from 1 minute to 5 minutes to 10 minutes to 15 minutes in length, where you're outlining the skills that you provide people in real time and you know, in person. And you say, first you got to get a manual, like a playbook. Yeah. This is the playbook of this is the value proposition that Culinary Concepts AB offers. Here's the playbook. And then you got to get that playbook broken down into mini chapters. And those mini chapters have to be videos that you put on a robust Culinary Concepts AB website. And then what you can do is you could create a monthly subscription service where people can tune in and watch these chapters in the playbook fold out in a video tutorial. Or it's just a flat fee where it's like $500 get you from the program from start to finish. Because I think what we're seeing at the college level is colleges like maybe not like UVA because it's so prestigious, but maybe colleges that are outside like the top 50, top 100,
right.
They're eventually going to go away. And why I think colleges is going to go away, because the college model is freaking broken. How are people leaving with colleges with like $90,000 in student debt? They're not going to be able to dig out of that hole until they're 40, 45. So I think what the college model is heading to is, and I'm going to throw it back to you, and I love this stuff, you can tell.
Yeah.
I think what it's going to go to is the colleges are going to broadcast the content online, and the content is going to be open source, or it's going to be much more affordable to people. And then people can go through college programs on their computer and their home, just like I'm doing right here and holding this computer. And then if they do enough credits, they're going to be able to graduate from college. That's where colleges are going to go to, and it's going to solve the debt crisis from student standpoint. With your concept, you can leverage the same plan and say $500 gets you the online version, and you make it worldwide. And dude, if you get 5,000 people or 10,000 people giving you $500 or $750 to go through this program, and it's certification when it's done, and it's something that they can leverage on their resume, not only are you going to be super freaking rich, but you also are going to be providing really good value for people because they need folks like you to show them the forest through the trees.
Right.
Your thoughts, sir?
First, you're hired.
Come on.
Let me know when you can start. I like it. No, but it's funny because that's actually my business plan. To do an online program.
Okay.
And to make it even funnier, literally Friday I reached out to a guy with a company called Rublox, which is a online culinary training platform.
Love it.
We're working out a time to link up to discuss what that would look like.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And if you go through this online culinary training platform, it's already got the infrastructure in place, so you don't have to pay the big money to build it out.
Right.
You can leverage the open source infrastructure that's already there. And dude, if you did this idea, and I love talking about stuff like this, if you did this idea, it would further your personal brand, because then your personal brand starts becoming, regional, and then national, and then global. And then next thing you know, Antoine Brinson is Anthony Bourdain. R.I.P. Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
But I mean, talk to me about this. It would be so sick, dude.
Yeah. I love it. I love your energy, man.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love your energy. Challenges that you have faced in Charlottesville with growing this business.
I would say I'm not from Charlottesville, so in the beginning it was extremely hard to meet people. And I literally put myself out there. I mean, at one point I was doing 2 to 3 networking events a week because I'm like, I need to be out my comfort zone.
You got to build your brand.
Yeah, and as a chef, I mean, we're introverts. We like to be in the kitchen. We don't really like to talk unless it's food. And it was really just kind of putting myself out there saying, hey, I believe in this. I'm going to do this. I need to get other people to believe in this as well.
Do you call yourself a chef now or an entrepreneur?
Entrepreneur.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When did you start figuring out that I'm no longer a chef? And was that tough?
I would say being a chef, and most chefs will agree with me, it's a lifestyle. It's not so much of a title. It's just who you are, what you do, how you walk, how you talk, how you cook. I mean, it's a lifestyle. So am I a chef still? Absolutely. But right now I got my entrepreneur hat on and I'm rolling with it.
It's so a lifestyle. Yeah. And before I met my beautiful wife who's watching now, and certainly before I had our son Trey, I was a single guy making some money and loving Charlottesville and getting after it. And you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
And a lot of my buddies were chefs, and they were getting up, doing their, after work, their side work, closing the kitchen down, making sure the staff in the back of the house and the front of the house was on point. Yeah. And when they were leaving, it was like 11:30, midnight. Yeah. And these dudes were ready to get after it too.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to decompress after work. And unfortunately, the only thing that's open at that time in a lot of places is bars.
Yeah.
So where I'm going with this, I totally get the chef lifestyle. Yeah. My buddies are chef. I love living the chef lifestyle, even though I'm not a chef. I don't do that anymore, wife. Were you living the chef lifestyle at one time?
At one time, yeah. I mean, like it's
fast.
It's fast. Yeah. You don't stop. You do a lot of things you're not supposed to do. But it's all in the will of, let's cook amazing food. Let's do it. We're going into service. Let's go to war.
It takes a unique person to work in the back of a house of a kitchen.
Yeah, I agree. It does. Not everyone makes it back there, you know.
Because and just spitball with me here is because of the freaking pressure. It's like the U.S. It's like the post office. The mail never stops. The orders never stop until the place is closed. And just because someone is in the weeds, like right now with ticket 101, doesn't mean that there's not going to be 40 other covers that come in after 101. So you better figure out getting in the weeds with ticket 101 because 40 other peeps want their entree ASAP. And people are the worst when they're hangry, when they don't have their food. I mean, that's when you see like the nastiest side of people.
Yeah.
The nicest, sweetest person in the world, when she or he does not have their food, they are awful.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this.
Yeah, you know what, man? I would say, you know, for a chef being on the line, I mean, it's like somebody that loves to fix cars. You know, you do it because you love it. You know, it's something about that line. You know, if you're working saute, grill, whatever it is, like just to be able to have the tickets come in and to be able to multitask and do 5 or 6 things at a time, it's a rush. You know, and to be able to have 3 or 4 other guys next to you that are in sync with what you're doing, and everybody's just rolling. You know, pantry's coming up, first course is coming out, second course is coming out. I mean, it's just a rush. And when you get done with the night like that, it reminds you of why you love doing what you do.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
Can we sizzle reel that, Harris? How many sizzle reels is that there? That's like 6 right there. I appreciate you. Harris Tolber, our director, Judah Wickhauer, Lauren Linsky, our producers. If you have a question for Antoine Brinson, and we have some questions we're going to get to, please put them in the feed here, and we'll pass them along to the president and founder of Antoine Brinson. If you can like and share the stream, that would mean a lot to us as well. Talk to us about how the restaurateurs have received Culinary Concepts AB. Has it been a positive reception? Do you feel like you still have to break some doors down to let them know you're here?
It's crazy. So when I first started this, I partnered with the city of Charlottesville. Shout out to Holly Lee and the team with the Department of Economics. So I partnered with the GO program. And, you know, that was the first step. All right, I need to get someone to sponsor this. And the second step was I need to get restaurants to support this. And this is how I met a lot of the restaurateurs in Charlottesville. I literally went out with a survey to every restaurant, knocking on doors, talking to chefs, talking to restaurant owners, like, hey, I'm going to create this concept. If I have students graduate, when I have students graduate, would you be open to taking them in your restaurant and train and putting them in, let them trail with you, or you hiring them? And I would say out of 30 restaurants, 28 said yes. And I hit everything. And if they weren't available that day, I would come back and I would just talk to them, you know. And then from one conversation to another, I ended up linking up with Will Ritchie, you know, ended up linking up with a lot of other great people in Charlottesville. And the community, the chefs have been super, super supportive of the program. I mean, like, for example, I'm in week 4 right now. This week, by the end of the week, I'm going to send an email out to all the chefs and say, hey, do you have any open positions? I'm going to send my students out on job trails in 2 weeks, and you know, they'll send me their open positions. I'll send the students out to do job trails, and the goal is by the end of that week that all of them get hired.
I love it. I love it. Charlottesville clearly has a lack of personnel, talented folks to service the restaurants in the area. You picked a concept, dude, that really makes so much sense to me, because Charlottesville, from a per capita standpoint, has more restaurants in its municipality than I've been told from Charlottesville tourism any other city in America than San Francisco and New York City.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Charlottesville has over 500 restaurants in 10 miles area.
Can we say over 500 restaurants in a 10-mile area in the city of Charlottesville? When you were launching this business, I mean, you had to be thinking about those numbers, right? And you had to see that there was no real. Is there another? Who is your competition here?
There's no other competition in Charlottesville. Yeah.
I mean, so is that what you were saying? Wife, look, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, there's only 3 concepts like this in the nation. And they're all
sick.
One is in DC Central Kitchen. Shout out to Michael. There's Fair Start out in Seattle, and then there's another one, Liberty's Kitchen in Louisiana.
I love it. I got a question coming in from Michael Buchensky, First Heritage Mortgage. What or who in your life instilled your passion and your drive? Because it's obvious to me sitting at my desk right now that you embody these qualities.
I would definitely say my mom.
Interesting.
Yeah. My mom, I grew up, my mom was a foster parent, and she raised well over 250 kids. And I got a chance to see her live her passion every single day. And at the time, I didn't realize, you know, what was happening. But as I got older and I started to fall into what I love to do, and I started to realize how much I love training, it became clear to me, like, wait a minute, I know what this looks like. I've seen it before. And I always refer back to her and the lessons that I was able to learn from her, not by telling me, but just by watching her live it.
I love that answer. Did you already mark it right there? You knew that was going to be hot, didn't you, Harris? Harris Tolber is such a welcome addition to the team. Harris got nothing but love for you, homie. Judah Wickhauer and Lauren Linsky helping make this program possible as well. Your mom raised over 200. I have to follow up on that. Your mom raised over 250 kids?
Yeah, that's her passion. She was a foster parent.
So did you have just a ton of brothers and sisters growing up?
Yeah, I had every race kid age come through our house, and it was an interesting experience growing up,
I have to ask you about that. What
Yeah.
was that like? Did some of them, okay, here's what immediately comes to mind. Were you seen as like the protector, the big brother? Did some of them try to bully or intimidate you? Was it always like nice and like friendly like Brady Bunch? Or was there friction from time to time? I mean, how do you, talk to me about this?
All of the above.
Yeah?
I would definitely say I have a lot of people out there that I call brothers and sisters just because we grew up together, it is what it is.
How did she look at you versus the foster kids?
She always treated everyone fair.
Really?
She treated everyone equal.
Yeah?
A lot of the kids came in, they had their own issues going on, and her number one thing was to get them to a place where they felt safe and they felt like they were at home.
I love it.
Yeah.
Brees Cunningham, executive chef Brees Cunningham watching us, formerly of Tempo, formerly at one time of Fleury. Brees, we appreciate you and thank you very much for watching us. Also of the Water Street Grill. Brees, thank you very much for watching us. Like and share the feed if you can. How about the Culinary Concepts AB? I believe you had an evolution with your business where you previously were partnered with the city, and did you get more private with your model? You recently had a pivot that you made. Help me, enlighten me with this pivot.
Yeah, so...
I follow you.
I love it. I love it. So, no, I'm still partnering with the city.
Okay.
The program is through the Growth Opportunity Program with the city of Charlottesville. But I realized that, at one point I was literally in every single neighborhood passing out flyers, shaking hands, knocking on doors, telling people about the program. I really wanted people to get excited about it. And what I realized was that we had more people applying for the program in the county than we had in the city.
Interesting.
And to take it even further, what I realized was that the people that were applying used to live in the city, but because of the cost of living, they can't afford to live in the city anymore, so they had to move to the county. Well, the city has all of the resources for workforce development and training. So I had to find a way to make it work. So what I did was two things. One, I reached out to the county and say, hey, I need you guys to get on board. I have county restaurants that are telling me they need people, but they don't have the staff. I can provide that, with your support. And shout out to the board, the board of supervisors. They supported the program and they backed me on it. And the second was I needed to find private pay, restaurants or businesses, and I was able to do that. Shout out to Mike over at Farmington, for supporting, and a couple others that decided, hey, you know what, we believe in what you're doing. We want to hire your students. Would you be able to train for us exclusively? And because of that, it's made this a successful model.
Love it. You have a lot of people jumping in. Crystal Napier, thank you for liking the feed. Lauren Mendoza, who's one of the co-owners of Lampo, also one of the co-owners of Prime 109 on the downtown mall, watching right now. Entrepreneur and executive chef Lauren Mendoza. Lauren, you and Antoine Brinson should hook up because, Lauren, I know that from time to time your restaurants are short-staffed because I see the post that you're doing, or Mitchell is doing. Mitchell Barron's your co-owner, when you guys are saying, we need a dishwasher tonight. We will pay a staff meal and X amount of dollars. Or we're short-staffed on the line. Well, one of the chefs coming in here. Lauren, you guys should connect.
That's amazing. I've never seen the post, but that's awesome.
Yeah, Mitchell does it. They do them a lot on their personal pages, not their branded business pages, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, more questions coming in. Questions coming in here through Twitter as well. Nicole, I will get to that question. John, I will get to your question here on Twitter. I have to follow up, and you've already filled 47 minutes, so you're crushing it. I have to ask this question to you. Why are more people from the county applying? You've touched on it a little bit, but why more from the county engagement than the city?
I would definitely say
cost of living.
The cost of living, it plays a big piece of the puzzle. You have people that just can't afford to live in the city, but they'll commute. Just because that's where the jobs are. So it's just an interesting dynamic with the housing crisis that we're facing here in Charlottesville right now.
It's so crazy that the affordable housing affects so much of everyone's life.
It's a ripple effect. It really does. Yeah.
So very interesting. Nicole says, John, I'm going to get to yours next. Nicole says, how has this influenced your kids? Do they participate in any way? Are they motivated by their father being such a positive impact in Charlottesville?
Well, my youngest, he's 6. You know,
he's just trying to watch Clifford, or he's trying to play with balls right now.
He loves that, regardless.
Okay.
But my oldest, I definitely would say,
13?
13.
Yeah.
You know, he's at that stage where he's transitioning, you know, and he's going through a lot of things. And I can definitely tell you his friends follow everything that I'm doing. So he gets a lot of like positive, you know, reinforcement from school, which makes him feel good.
I love it. I am Rick Cato just walked by, sous chef at Commonwealth Sky Bar. Rick, thank you for tuning in and give us props outside the window. A lot of chefs here. A lot of chefs jumping on the feed because of you. John says this: who are the restaurateurs that you have had most success with so far?
I would say, as far as job placement goes, I would say Will has been extremely supportive. I haven't placed anyone with him. I linked up with Will when I was teaching over at PB&J. Shout out PB&J. And we had students do trails last summer. But I would say most of the students have been placed at either UVA. They've done job trails at Farmington. So it's a mix.
That's cool. Do they see you? Are they embracing and welcoming to the concept, or are you having to explain what you're doing?
At this point, I think that most of the people that are reaching out to me, they're curious and they embrace it because the staffing need is so big in Charlottesville. So I haven't had anyone that's like, no. Like everyone's like, yes, please, can we sign up?
I love it. We have landlords watching on the program, and they don't like the attention on them, but I see that you're watching here. One of the third largest property owners in Charlottesville on the feed right now. Let me throw the need for perhaps a headquarters or a huge epicenter, a place where you have like the industrial commissary type kitchens, and maybe I'm using the wrong terminology there, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then also the opportunity to maybe do like the video concepts that we were talking about, and then maybe like the classroom piece. Is one of the next steps the headquarters or the epicenter?
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm going to outgrow the space that I'm in now. It was funny because the landlord that I have now, when
Can I ask who it is?
Yeah, it's Clarabelle.
Okay.
Clarabelle Willer. When I signed up, she's like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "You're not outgrow the space." I'm like, "I know, but right now it's better than nothing."
Right.
So,
right.
So I know I'm going to outgrow the space that I'm in, and I'm okay with that. But you know, I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
Good question right there. Good answer. Let me throw this to you. As far as Charlottesville and the downtown mall, do you feel that you need to penetrate the downtown mall market to add sex appeal or credibility to the brand? Because, and I think there are great restaurants all over Charlottesville and Central Virginia. I think the epicenter for restaurants in Charlottesville and Central Virginia is undoubtedly the 8 blocks that are downtown.
Yeah.
I think perhaps the most creative and cutting edge, and you know, the restaurants people talk about, and they're all over Charlottesville. I'm not marginalizing restaurants. That's not what I'm trying to do. But downtown is the epicenter for cooking and culinary in Charlottesville. Did you feel pressure to penetrate that space to help build your brand?
I did. I mean, I was at Common House downtown, and that was my neighborhood. So I felt like I needed to know my neighbors. And again, I'm not from here, so I wanted to meet all the chefs out here. So I kind of just put myself out there so I can meet, you know, the people that are putting out the amazing food here.
What did you learn from Common House? Because I've seen firsthand, okay, and I'm going to say this is not you saying it. I've seen firsthand go from the Common House go initially with the launch, and it had bang, so much interest from the beginning, because like everything from a novelty standpoint, when it's brand new, people want to get involved.
Right.
Okay, it's novelty, it's brand new, it's the one of a kind in Charlottesville. Well, then, and I'm going to say it plateaued a little bit. And then Common House is trying to try different ideas to inject energy and life into the model as they scale to a second location. With, if I know these guys correctly, they're trying to get to 8 or 10 spots and then maybe find some private equity to exit or infuse capital to their business. I'm not trying to assume, but I think I'm pretty much right. And by how you're responding right there, I can tell I'm right. So let me throw this to you here. What did you learn from the boom and the fact that immediately it had success, and then plateau a little bit? What'd you take from that?
You know, when I came on board, you know, they brought me on board because we thought that the motto was high end. That was the food. You know, they want to do high end food. That's my background. But you know, going through it, what we learned was, you know, that was not the motto. You know, like, we're not New York. This isn't Soho. And you know, the fine dining appeal was not what the clientele of Common House was. You know, they wanted simplicity. You know, they wanted really simple food.
Approachability.
Well. Approachable food. That's what it came down to. So I would definitely say to find that point, there were a lot of ups and downs. At one point we were changing the menu like once a month just to try to figure out what is it that the people want. We had boards set up just so we could get feedback.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that, where they are now, shout out to Matt Green over there at Common House, the new executive chef there. I think they kind of found their groove. They kind of found the cuisine that speaks to their members and what they were looking for.
I love it. Let me throw this to you. As far as growing the business to the next level, team members, you right now are the Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees, the LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers. You're the face of the franchise.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you scale a concept? And we talked about it briefly with the video piece. Talk more about how you can scale when it's such a personally invested business, like where it's so tied to you. I struggled with this.
Yeah.
11 years with my business, and it wasn't, I feel like, till the 5-year marker where I read a book called E-Myth Mastery. Mm-hmm. And E-Myth Mastery, all the entrepreneurs that are watching right now, I highly encourage you to read E-Myth Mastery. It taught me 2 things. Don't work in your business, work on your business.
Right.
And the second thing it taught me was you don't start or launch a business to be the hub of the business. Mm-hmm. You start and launch a business to empower people to help run the business. Talk to me about some of those items and how they apply to you.
Agree 2,000%. I mean, it's the same mentality going into a kitchen. As the chef, you go into the kitchen, you write the recipes, you organize everything, and your job is to teach your team how to be successful, teach your team how to execute, and how to run the kitchen without you. The end goal with any restaurant for a chef is to get your team to a point where they can operate without you being there. When you can do that, that's how you know you've done a good job. And it's the same mentality going into the business. Right now, am I in it? Yes, I'm doing everything. But you know what? I know my goal is to find those passionate individuals, to find that right passionate individual and bring them in to take over my role so I can step back.
What's been the best outlets for you so far to get customers, and in your case, customers are students? Mm-hmm. What's been the best route for you to find students who want to engage and, more importantly, pay you money?
Hands down, social media.
Yeah?
Yeah, social media. That's the way to go. Shout out to Destiny with LLC Marketing.
She's crushing. When you talk to her, give her some props.
Yeah.
And she's someone that's in my space. So the fact that I'm giving her some props.
Yeah, she's the one that helps me manage my social media. She was actually in my class with CIC. Uh-huh. And I remember being in class with her, and I said, AD, when we graduate, I'm going to hire you. And she's like, oh, okay, and kind of just brushed it off.
Yeah, right. She's like, all right, I'll believe when I see it.
We graduated. I'm a man of my word.
Love it. Tell her I gave her props.
Yeah, for sure.
Seriously.
I will. Yeah.
And she also has a hair business.
She does.
Running.
Yeah.
So she has serial entrepreneur in her blood.
Yeah.
UVA grad. She's good people. Nikisha's watched this entire show. Nikisha White, I love you. Jason Borman, General Manager at Cardinal Hall, watching right now. Jason Borman, props. Jason Borman, I first met you at the Greenskeeper, my friend, when we were playing pool at one of those 7-foot bar box tables. You were wearing a Chicago Cubs hat, and I was one of those annoying little UVA students that you hated. Jason, our relationship has been 17 years of friendship to you, Jason Borman. Props to you, homie. Nikisha awesome. Says, I've learned so much. Without a plan, I had nothing. When I met Brinson, I got a plan.
Yeah, it's all about having a plan. We talk about that in class. The life skills piece, I would definitely say, is the bread and butter that holds the program together. Yeah. I mean, you can go in any restaurant and learn how to cook, but to find a program that can teach you how to navigate so you can move up and move through life and be able to use the skills that you use in everyday life in the kitchen, that's a different approach.
That's a good, and let me throw this to you. Are a lot of the folks that are involved or some of the folks that are involved, are they often at maybe last chance from a job employment standpoint? Where I'm going with this is a lot of times, from my experience, and I worked all through restaurants in town to pay for my education at UVA. And what I learned was I met so many different folks from so many different walks of life. And restaurants. Like restaurants, especially the back of the house, I feel like is a melting pot of cultures. Yeah. It's a melting pot of races. It's a melting pot of people from different walks of life. Some of the folks I met got in some trouble through some stupid decisions they made, and their last chance from an employment standpoint was the back of the house of a restaurant. Yeah. Talk to me about that.
I would say you see that, but what I found was that you have a lot of people out there that's been in the industry for 5, maybe 10 years, and you've gotten to a point where maybe you're about to have a baby, and you're like, oh man, you know what? It's time for me to move up. And then you go apply for that saute position, but unfortunately, you spent the last 5 years on pantry. well, I can't hire you for a saute position, you know, and I felt like there was a disconnect with people out there that don't understand the difference between industry specific experience versus station specific experience. So, you know, really it's an education process to help people understand that, hey, just because you work one station does not make you equipped to be a sous chef.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaufman, owner of Public Fish and Oyster, is watching the program. Daniel Kaufman, thank you for watching. I think, Daniel, if you're short staff with your front of the house, back of the house, contact this man, Antoine Brinson of Culinary Concepts AB, and we love Public, Daniel Kaufman.
Yeah.
Hannah Lanik Maratazzo.
Yeah.
She's giving you props.
Shout out to Hannah. That's my girl.
Yeah,
That's,
she's giving you props.
my buddy
Also,
Mike.
Robin Nicole Isom.
Yeah, that's one of my sisters.
Yeah, okay. Robin Nicole. Thank you for watching the program.
Yeah.
Your brother's crushing it right now. Destiny says, go Antoine, giving you some props. Destiny, I gave you some props as well.
Yeah.
Daniel Kaufman jumps on the feed and says, what up?
What's up, man?
Yeah, so you got some big-time people watching the show right now. Talk to me about the, and we've touched on this a little bit, but we have new people watching.
Right on.
I love this question because I think clearly a lot of business owners and people that run their businesses are watching right now. And I ask this to everybody, what do you do when you're in your business and you're feeling down on yourself? When you're like, damn it, I am going one step forward and two steps backwards, or I'm spinning my wheels. And I struggle with this all the time.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I feel like we do the best we can with what we got, and we also embody the DWYGD acronym, which is do what you got to do just to get the shit done.
Yeah.
Okay? Talk to me about that feeling of despair and how you overcome it, and also the Dwight mentality.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say by nature, you know, I'm a perfectionist, and I'm extremely hard on myself. I'm my worst critic, and I knew going into this that as in the culinary world, I've been fortunate enough to have an inner circle of very positive, passionate, supportive chefs in my world. And I knew that going into this entrepreneur world that I needed to form that same circle in order for me to reach a level of success that I need. I knew I was going to have some downs. I knew there were going to be some pitfalls. And it wasn't about that. It was just really having that support to help me get up. So, you know, I formed those relationships. You know, I would definitely say one person that I always go to, I went to see him last week, is Kier over at CIC. I mean, that's my guy. You know, I'll go in and I'll just sit and chat with him, you know. I think even as a business owner, everyone needs to have that person or those individuals that you can talk to, you know, and to kind of just vent to kind of help you navigate.
Good answer. Bob Heck.
Yeah, this is my sous chef at Common House. Shout out
Bob Heck says, push yourself, chef.
Yeah, that's
Push yourself.
Push yourself, chef.
Tell me what he's meaning by that. That's an inside joke from Common House right there.
Yeah, well, that came from Rich Rosendale, man. You know, we were in the kitchen. He lived by that, you know, and I would say anybody that was on his in his regime, you know, we all say that, you know, when times get hard, when things get tough, you know, push yourself, chef. You know, you got to get through it.
It's like to do what you got to do.
Yeah, no crying. You know, we don't want to hear you whining about it. Let's just get it done.
Did you play team sports growing up?
Football.
Yeah, I can so tell.
Yeah.
Team sports, put this in perspective for me. Team sports has such an incredible impact on people. Even if they suck, I mean, even if they're a bench player on team sports, they learn to work within the dynamic of, like, everybody from a team sports where I grew up in is like, the weakest link has to step up.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You're only as strong as your weakest link. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, that mentality carries over to everything you do in your career. I think as a professional, you know, that's one thing that I preach in my class. You know, it's never about you. It's always about the team. And, you know, you learn that from playing team sports. You know, football is a really big one. I ran track for many years.
You look like an athlete.
Yeah.
You're fit. You're jacked.
I wish I was fit. Thank you.
You are fit. Stop. You're looking sharp.
I wish I was fit, yeah.
Do you have any chance to take care of your body, like from working out and exercising?
Man, I wish. You know, I tried to build it into my schedule, but other things were more important. So I kind of put the workout thing on the back burner. But
I struggle with that too, dude.
Yeah. If you want to hit the gym with me, if you can commit to it, I'll commit to it.
Where? Can we go to ACAC?
I can try.
Okay. I like it. I like it. A lot of people all about the team. People giving you some props here. You're a very likable guy here. Things that we missed. Things that we should be covering. And I'm looking for I want this show the mission of the show is to celebrate the best of Charlottesville. And how we're celebrating the best of Charlottesville is by featuring its thought leaders, its influencers, its entrepreneurs, the small business owners that make the community great, and putting knowledge out there so people can take that knowledge, decipher it however they want, and then apply that knowledge to their everyday life. I'm trying to change the conversation of Charlottesville by putting positive vibes into the ecosystem.
I love it.
And do our part to help change what people see of Charlottesville.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, show's yours. Talk to me about, you're such a positive guy and a well-energy guy. Like the energy is like gravitating to me. Just talk to me about the personal, the professional, anything we haven't covered that needs to be out there.
I would definitely say from an entrepreneur perspective, you know, if you're going to start a business, you got to convince yourself. It has to be a conviction. You can't just say, I want to do it. Like you got to have a deeper reason of why you need to do it. It can't be a want. And then I would go as far as saying that once you find out like what your conviction is and why you need to do this business, you know, you need to make sure that it's not about you, because you're only going to go so far if it's about you. My thing was, you know, I developed a business concept that was about helping other people. And I knew that if I could surround myself with passionate individuals and help them reach a certain level of success in their life, that it would be more rewarding than money. And I know that money always comes, right? You know, as an entrepreneur, you'll make money, right? But to be able to make a difference for me was so much bigger than that. And for me, once I figured out how I could make a difference, the rest of it was, all right, well, how do I turn it into a business to be able to make it profitable?
Good stuff. Kaufman, I'm going to get to yours in a second here, Kaufman. Daniel Kaufman of Public wants you guys to connect. Michael Guthrie, Roy Wheeler, CEO, says there's a great commercial. And Michael Guthrie is watching through April Dent Ward's shared Facebook stream.
Awesome.
So April Dent Ward shared this stream to her
awesome.
personal page, and he's watching through April Dent Ward. And April Dent Ward is a big-time CVille agent and a supporter of this program. Michael Guthrie is the Roy Wheeler CEO, Chief Executive Officer. And he says there's a great commercial on the radio right now from the Virginia High School League talking about people who played high school sports and how they make great team members and how this team dynamic applies to the workplace. I'll throw it back to you about that, Antoine.
Agree 200%. You know, my son played football this past year for the Patriots.
Albemarle High School?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, not high school, middle school.
Okay,
middle
got
school.
it. Awesome.
But and you know, shout out to Coach Tony. I mean, but him and the other coaches, I love the way they run the football team. You know, it was kind of how my apprenticeship was ran. You know, it's super intense. It's all about results. It's all about getting it done, and it's all about supporting each other and kind of getting through it. You know, if one person's lagging behind, you make sure that person gets to the finish line. You don't make fun of them. And I think it's the same mentality in any kitchen. And I agree with them. You know, you have these individuals that are graduating high school that aren't necessarily going to college right away. Learn a trade. You learn a trade, you get that in your pocket, you're going to have to get work anyway. If you get a trade under your belt, for me, it's a 5-week program if you do this class, right? You get a couple certificates, you get a job, you make a little bit of money while you're trying to figure out what you want to do. You can always go to college, but to have that trade in your pocket, it's going to carry you.
I love that, because college is not for everybody.
It's not. It's not.
And not only is it not for everybody, there's a huge difference between somebody, depends on the person, but somebody at 18 and then maybe someone at 20 or 22. And if you're making like a 25 grand a year investment into education, you better be ready to pour your heart and soul into it. Because if you're 18 or 19 and you're not, your parents are going to get screwed with tuition, or you're going to get screwed with the student debt that you accrue. Kaufman from Public Fish and Seafood says, please pass along my info to Antoine Brinson. I'd like to connect him with Public Chef Greg Dion. I can't stay around for right now, but I'm stupid sick, but this show has kicked some ass.
Awesome.
Daniel Kaufman, I will do that. I will connect you guys here.
Get better, man.
Yeah, we will. Get better for real, Daniel Kaufman. 67 minutes in, and you hit a home run. I want to give you an opportunity to take the show 60 seconds. You know what? Before I do that, celebrate and highlight and spotlight some of the graduates that are like some of the best. And we're not marginalizing any of them. But some of the best that have come through.
I would say the first couple that comes off my head is Shamia. Shamia came to me. She had literally just given birth to, you know, a baby. And she came, did my program, finished the program, was like, Chef, what do I do next? I'm like, you know what? She's like, I want to have a business. I want to have a catering business. I'm like, you need to do CIC. Joined CIC, graduated CIC. You fast forward to now, she has a business called 3&Me Catering, and she's trying to get her catering business off the ground. Super, super amazing. We still keep in contact. Actually, she's going to be doing a thing at UVA on Wednesday, which is pretty cool. I would definitely say another one would be the last class. Tootie, Kalisha Powell, she came through the program, and she had a rough life, a lot of things going on. She was a manager at a restaurant, and she knew that she wanted to finish this, and she wanted to do something bigger than just working at a restaurant. She wanted to have a business one day. So she took the program, and before she finished the program, she got a second job just because of her passion for it.
Steve Smith from Twitter says, Antoine, who are some of your culinary mentors? Who are some of the chefs that have motivated you in life?
I would definitely say the top mentors that I've had in my life. First, I would say Chef Rosendale, Rich Rosendale, at the Greenbrier. He was and is still a huge inspiration for me in everything that I do. He really just. His passion is kind of like, it transcends to everyone around him. He's
one of those dudes when you walk in, you feel him.
Yeah.
I love that.
Chef Peter Timmons, the late Chef Peter Timmons, who passed away last year, very, very inspirational. I mean, he's the one that really kind of planted the foundational seed in all of us that went through the apprenticeship at the Greenbrier. I would definitely say Chef Leanne. I work with her in Hawaii. Very, very passionate individual, business-minded, and really kind of helped me transition with that front of the house, Going from there, shout out to my buddy Chef Frank and Chef Max. These guys that were not only some of my best friends, but these guys have really helped me mature as a chef and grow.
Good answer. Let's close with this, and I'll thank the sponsors so you have an opportunity to compose your thoughts. I want to say, this will be the question. How can people get involved with Culinary Concepts AB, and what can they expect through the involvement of Culinary Concepts AB? I'll ask you that in about 30 seconds. Dan Barnes and Meg Taylor, thank you for liking and sharing the program. I want to thank Roy Wheeler for being a part of the show. It's a trusted real estate firm. You don't have the longevity that Roy Wheeler has had without being a trusted firm. Thank Greenberry's Coffee for being a part of the show. Dr. Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine. Awesome. And guys, Intrastate Pest and Service Companies, 4 generations of family running this business. Started in 1969. I want to get to the point with my business, it's going to be 11 years old in May, where I can say, son, if you'd like, no pressure. Son, if you'd like, you can take over and run it. Because that would be, I think that's when you're starting to build a legacy. And I'm starting to think legacy now with a young man in our household that I adore awesome. More than I adore, myself or anything else. So we'll close with President and Founder Antoine Brinson, the top dog at Culinary Concepts AB. How can we get involved with Culinary Concepts AB? What can we expect? And when we do get involved with your business?
Well, how can you get involved? Reach out to me through the website. It's AntoineBrinson.net. And what can you expect? Us making a ripple effect, man. Helping people find jobs in the industry, helping people connect with, the restaurateurs, and creating a bridge for individuals to go from a job to a career in culinary arts.
Good answer. Sizzle reel that for us, Harris, if you don't mind. And thank you so much. Harris Tolber is our director, Judah Wickower, a producer, Lauren Linsky, a producer. There's 4 people putting this show together. So we put a lot of resources, time, and capital to this. Yeah. Sir, you killed it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. You made us better today.
I appreciate
it. Tomorrow we have Clay Yor, her company, Yor Consulting, in the spotlight. She is helping small business owners, mid-cap businesses, optimize their models. So Clay Yor is going to join us. On Thursday, Melissa Close-Hart, the executive chef of Junction Restaurant here on the I Love CVille show. Wednesday, we'll have somebody from Roy Wheeler. Friday, we're efforting a number of people. So stay tuned to our Friday guest. Former Mayor Dave Norris is also going to join us next week on the show. You see what we're trying to do with the program? It's positive spotlight on Charlottesville. It's influencers, it's leaders, it's small business owners, it's entrepreneurs, because I think if we do that, we can show and reinforce the greatness and all the cool stuff and the cool people that are in Charlottesville. I'm so tired of the negativity that I oftentimes see on the news when it comes to my hometown.
Yeah.
Stop focusing on the negativity and start celebrating the positivity. And that's the whole concept of I Love CVille and the I Love CVille show.
Love it.
My name is Jerry Miller. I want to thank Harris Tolber, Judah Wickower, and Lauren Linsky for being a part of the show. I want to thank Antoine Brinson for being just a breath of fresh air.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
A true breath of fresh air. I will be back here in 23 hours and change, 22 hours and change with with Clay Ure. It's the I Love CVille show. I'm Jerry Miller. As always, Charlottesville, Virginia, I leave you with two things. Please be good to each other, and please embody the golden rule. If we do both, we will leave our home in a better place than when we first arrived. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Awesome, dude.
Dude, you awesome. So awesome.
Dude,
you killed it.
You crushed it, man. This is awesome, man.
Thank you.
Great,
Thank you.
great show, man.
I appreciate you saying that. Like you said, all we're trying to do is like celebrate folks like you. I mean, I thought you were obviously. I mean, you're getting. It's still happening. A second person is asking for us to reach out. This person from Sweet House. So let me hook you up with these intros. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
you can expect from us is 30 days of sitting here